In a village hidden deep in the vast Sahara desert, there was a young girl named Adisa. This wasn't an ordinary village, and Adisa wasn't an ordinary girl. Orphaned as a baby, she was raised by Mama Esh, the village elder. Mama Esh was strict but loving, and she taught Adisa everything about the land. But Adisa had a secret, one she could never tell anyone, not even Mama Esh. She had magic that could heal the land and the living. One day, while gathering firewood in the desert, she heard a faint cry. Following the sound, she found a small, injured gazelle caught in a hunter's trap. Its leg was bleeding, and it struggled to escape. Without thinking, Adisa placed her hands on the gazelle's leg. A soft, golden light flowed from her palms, healing the animal instantly. Adisa gasped, pulling back her hand. What did I do? The gazelle looked at her, its eyes full of gratitude, before bounding off into the sand dunes. From that moment, Adisa knew she had a power that could help others, but she was afraid. Her village feared magic. They believed it brought curses. She promised herself she would keep it hidden. Months passed, and the village suffered a terrible drought. The riverbeds were dry, the crops withered, and the animals were dying. The people prayed and waited for rain, but none came. If the rains don't come soon, we will have nothing left, one villager said with worry. Another added, the gods must be angry. Maybe we need to make a sacrifice. The village elders gathered to discuss what to do. We should offer a goat at the sacred mountain, one elder said. But Mama Esh had doubts. Is this the only way? What if the gods want something else? Adisa, listening quietly, felt a deep connection with the land. It was like the earth itself was crying out to her, asking for help. That night, Adisa made up her mind. I cannot let my people suffer, she whispered to herself. Under the clear, starry sky, Adisa slipped out of her home and walked toward the sacred mountain. The cold desert wind brushed her skin, but her heart was set on one thing, bringing rain to her people. If the gods won't bring the rain, then I will, she whispered into the wind. At the summit, she knelt on the dry, cracked earth, closed her eyes, and spoke ancient words that came from deep within her. The ground trembled, and dark clouds began to gather in the sky. Adisa stood, her arms raised as the first raindrops fell from the sky, soaking the dry land below. The rain came, saving her village. But Adisa's journey didn't end there. One day, while walking through the desert, she stumbled upon a young man lying near an oasis. His clothes were torn, and his face was pale. He was a prince, lost in the desert after a terrible sandstorm separated him from his men. His name was Prince Kato, from a distant land. Please, help me, he whispered weakly, barely able to move. Adisa knelt beside him, her hands glowing softly as she touched his chest. The light from her hand spread across his body, healing his wounds and restoring his strength. When Kato opened his eyes, he looked at her with awe. Who are you? He asked, his voice filled with wonder. I am Adisa, she replied, a simple girl from a nearby village. But Kato knew she was more than that. You have a gift, Adisa. You saved me. Adisa blushed but said nothing. Kato stayed in the village for many days, regaining his strength and helping Adisa's people. During that time, Kato and Adisa grew close. He admired her kindness and wisdom, and she admired his bravery and strength. One evening, as they watched the sunset over the dunes, Kato turned to her and said, Adisa, I cannot return to my kingdom without you by my side. Will you come with me? Adisa looked at him, her heart full of love, but also fear. I am just a village girl, Kato. How can I be with a prince? You are more than that, Kato replied. You are the guardian of this land, and my heart. With Mama Esh's blessing, Kato and Adisa were married in a simple but beautiful ceremony, under the same stars that had guided her that fateful night to bring rain. Together, they returned to Kato's kingdom, where Adisa's powers continued to heal and protect the land. In time, Adisa and Kato's love blossomed, and soon Adisa became pregnant. The people of Kato's kingdom celebrated, for the royal couple was beloved by all. When the time came, Adisa gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl. They named the boy Jabari, which meant brave, and the girl, Amora, meaning grace. Both children were adored, but Jabari was different from the moment he was born. As he grew, it became clear that he had inherited Adisa's powers. But his abilities were even stronger. By the time he was 5, he could not only heal but also see visions of the future. One evening, Adisa noticed Jabari staring silently into the distance. "What do you see, my son?" she asked, worried. "The village, the people are afraid of me," Jabari said softly, his eyes distant. "They whisper when I walk by." Adisa's heart sank. She knew how powerful he was, but she hadn't realized how his gift frightened others. Word of Jabari's abilities spread quickly. People began to fear him, thinking he was too powerful for a child. "He sees things we shouldn't know," they whispered. "What if he uses it against us?" Kato tried to calm the people. "He is just a child. He will grow, and he will learn to control his powers." But fear is a powerful thing. Even at the age of 5, Jabari was feared, his power too great for people to understand. One day, while sitting alone in the palace gardens, Jabari suddenly froze, his eyes wide and his body stiff. He saw something, an attack. A neighboring village was planning to raid their home, steal their cattle, and burn their crops. Jabari rushed to his parents. "Mama, Papa," he cried, "we are in danger. They are coming, men from the next village. They will be here by nightfall." Kato looked at his son, his heart racing. "How do you know this?" he asked, but deep down, he trusted Jabari's vision. "There's no time," Jabari said urgently. "We need to protect the village." Thanks to Jabari's vision, Kato gathered the guards and the villagers. They prepared defenses and hid their most precious belongings. That night, when the raiders arrived, they were met with resistance and quickly fled, realizing they had been outsmarted. Jabari had saved the village, and while some whispered of his power with fear, others began to respect him. As Jabari's abilities grew stronger, Kato ascended to the throne, becoming king. But not everyone was pleased with Kato's rule. Among the elders, there were those who envied his power and plotted in secret to overthrow him. One night, Jabari had a terrible vision. He saw the elders meeting in the darkness, whispering plans to kill his father and replace him with one of their own. He ran to Kato and Adisa. "Father, they are going to kill you. The elders, they are planning to take the throne." Kato's face turned pale. "Are you sure, Jabari? This is a serious accusation." Jabari nodded, his eyes wide with fear. "I saw it. They are going to poison you at tomorrow's council meeting." The next morning, Kato entered the council room with a calm but cautious demeanor, knowing his life was in danger. The elders sat around the table, pretending all was normal, but Jabari's vision had prepared him. As the meal was served, Jabari appeared at the door, his face stern. "Stop," he shouted, pointing to the cup in front of his father. Kato rose from his seat, staring down the elders. "You would dare plot against your king?" The elders were shocked, but they knew they had been caught. Kato immediately ordered the traitors to be banished from the village. The people watched as the conspirators were led away, their faces filled with shame and fear. Jabari had once again saved the kingdom, but now everyone truly understood the power he held. He was not just a boy, he was a seer. From that day forward, Jabari became the village's seer. No attack, no betrayal, no illness would catch the kingdom by surprise. Jabari's visions protected the people, and soon, villagers from nearby lands began to travel to see him, seeking his help with their own troubles. Some came asking for guidance, others seeking healing. Jabari's name spread far and wide, and his presence ensured that no harm would come to the village again. The fear that had once surrounded him slowly turned to respect. Jabari was seen as a protector, just as his mother, Adisa, had been before him. Adisa, once the girl who brought rain to the desert, watched with pride as her son grew into a wise and powerful seer. Her daughter, Amara, stood by Jabari's side, her grace and wisdom balancing his powerful visions. Together, they ensured that the village thrived, free from fear and danger. And so, Adisa's story lived on, not just as the guardian of the land, but as the mother of a boy whose power could see the future and protect the people for generations to come. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe so you won't miss any of our stories when new videos are posted.